I'm here. I was just going to give myself an obligatory spray of perfume. I don't know why, but it's one of those things that I do just before I come on. Ah, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Saturday SOFTPOT Club. It's the 17th of February and it's a really miserable wet day outside, and I just love it because I don't have to water anything. And I used to dream of weather like this when I lived in Australia. I used to go outside and think, oh no, not another sunny day without a cloud in the sky. I used to dream of this. Oh, hello, Barbara. Hello, Smiley Time. Yes, thank you for sharing. Lexi, I can't believe the colours that you've got in your hair. Goodness gracious, I'm jealous. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for joining me. Right, what are we doing? Well, today, I don't know, we've done the Valentine's thing and, been showing love to everybody else. And, a lot of the time, actually, the truth is I have trouble showing love to myself. And really, love should start at home, shouldn't it? Oh, by the way, this is, please share, subscribe to my channel before I get completely diverted. Yes, I do online courses. I teach in Knaresborough at Henshaw's, and I do Women's Institute talks and demonstrations and workshops. And so please feel free to contact me. Got that bit in. Yes, talking about love and the lack of love, or the fact that we just give love all the time out, and I find it very, very hard. I find it very hard to meditate. I'm always doing something. There's always something I should be doing. But when I discovered the joy of softpot making, I invented softpots about 15 years ago, and it completely transformed my life. And me, on the inside, me. Now, some people might have joined me, and you don't know what a softpot is. Some people already know about softpots because they've met them before in my softpot garden. It travels around and it goes on tour during the summer. But I'll just show you a couple of things. I mean, this is a little softpot. They take so many forms. Softpots are handmade fabric plant pots, suitable for any plant, indoors or out. They can get really big, really tiny. This one. Now, I didn't make this one. Patsy made this one. I've never been able to make one so thin. But look at that. See how beautiful that is? Now, that has got to be at least 6 years old. Because that was in the shop that I had on Stonegate in York. And look at that, Patsy. It's just so beautiful. And anyway, yes, that's the sort of soft pot. This is another little sort of soft pot. Now, soft pots, they can they be big, small. You can pop them into bangles. See, that's a little bangle. It's just a bangle that used to go around my wrist. And I've made a little soft pot, dropped it in there, and suddenly I have just a work of art. I love this too. Yes, soft pots. I mean, oh, there's so much to say about them. They make you happy. They make you happy when you make them, and they make you happy when you give them to other people as well. You can give your love, but once you've made a soft pot, it just connects you to yourself. There's something magical about it. It creates a magical sort of garden, and like nothing else you've ever seen. And of course, they're perfect for patios, or if you move a lot, because they transport really, really, really easily. This is one that I rather liked. I thought it was a sexy sort of number. As you can see, it's wearing feathers and fishnets, and it's sort of got holes, and I just really, really like it, and I like the neckline on that. Can you see? Yeah. I mean, there's just so many different types of soft pots you can make, and every single one of them, is completely different. My favourite time of the week. Ah, thank you. Hello, Jill. Still making soft pots, I hope. Yeah, I made this flirty little number coming up to Valentine's. And, yeah, I just liked it so much I couldn't let it go. So it's still with me. And, yeah, soft pots go all year round, don't they, Jill? All you need is one plant to give you a thrill, and you make it into a soft pot, and it's a healing, therapeutic therapeutic experience. And until you do it, it's one of those things, you know, until you do it, try it, then you don't know. Not really, it's an intellectual thing. You know, soft pots go all the way down to your toes. They just connect everything. And by the time you've finished, you might not start off feeling like fairy-like or happy or anything that you might associate with making a soft pot. And you can actually take how you feel and reflect it in the pot. And by the time you finish up with a beautiful, beautiful soft pot. You've made something that you love and you're connected back in. And somehow all the anger, all of the rest of it has sort of been released. And it's just magic. Here we go. Oh, this is a little one. Yeah, you can have trees, big trees, little trees. I've got this little juniper tree here. And trees, I love soft pots with trees in them. They go for years and years and years. And I mean, the thing is, okay, when they get to the point where they're really getting too big, you wouldn't want to make them any bigger. You just, with soft pots, the roots grow normally. In any plant, the roots will grow normally. You don't get root spiralling like you do with a conventional plastic or terracotta pot. And then eventually the roots will come through under here, and you'll see them starting to poke through. And to make it a bonsai, or to make it so that it won't get any bigger, you just take your hand and just rub the roots off. And then plants aren't stupid, they go, and they bonsai themselves. And it's just a very, very kind way of keeping plants in containers. Because, as you can see, they're fat-bottom girls. They've got a really good connection to the earth. Oh, hello, Karen. Oh, you're here. Finally. Ooh, hello. Oh, ho to you, my lovely rainbow friends. Yes. You know, when I was at Rainbow once talking about trees, down south, we played around in this field. We had camps in this field. And right in the middle was a yew tree. And it was enormous and it was fenced off. But one year, the farmer opened up the area around there, underneath the tree, and I put my garden in there. But before after I put the garden in there, I thought, actually, I should try and communicate with this tree. And so anyway, I went in there and sat down, and I said, oh, yew tree, share with me your wisdom. And you know, nothing happened. And anyway, I went out and continued watering. And anyway, the next day I went in there, oh, yew tree, please share with me your wisdom. And nothing happened. I didn't hear anything. I got nothing. And anyway, I just went out and watered again. And then the third day I tried it, and I went, oh, yew tree, share with me your wisdom. And I got nothing. So I walked outside and started watering. And then I heard what I was singing. And it was the greatest wisdom that a yew tree could ever give. And it shows that it's got a sense of humour. Can you guess what it was that I was singing? Only you can make this world seem right. Only you. You know that song? And I was there. I'd probably been singing it all the other times as well, but I hadn't heard myself. And I found that Spirit will always find a way. If you are open and listening, and it will find a way. I mean, and what wonderful wisdom from a yew tree. And it's true. Love has to start with you. And sometimes it's really, really hard to reach that place. And I find, though, that, you know, however bad I feel, if I go and make a soft pot, I can't help but feel happy again. It's just, they're plants with personality, and every one of them is different. Every one of them is sacred. I mean, and you know, I mean, I show you, the ones I demonstrate, they're always a simple soft pot, but there's so many more forms and shapes. And see that one? I mean, that's got bulbs in it. And this one, you see, it's got a stretchy neck. Can you see? It's got a really, oh, hello, Pippa. Haha, recovering from your trip to Holland. It looked like you had a really, really good time. So glad. Here we go. There we are. And you can see this nice thick neck. And this is a recyclable pot. I can stretch that neck open, yank out the plants when it's finished, and put another one in. And I mean, soft pots themselves are made from ideally recycled materials, and they themselves are recyclable. You can use the material. I mean, if the plant's completely finished, it's no good and the pot's no good, you can just take out the bits that you've used for decorating and use them again, or use the whole pot. I mean, they're just completely flexible and beautiful, beautiful. And when you feel them, it's like you've got a friend. They're like pets. Right, what else have I got? Oh, I thought I'd bring this in. Now, Chloe, my first little assistant, she made this, and I absolutely love it. And it's got to be, a good few, probably maybe 7 or 8 years old. And you can see how the moss is growing and how the whole patina of the pot. Now, if I wanted to, if I didn't like that, I'd like it like this. And can you see, there's sort of like those glass pebbles in there as well. That's 7 or 8 years outside, and to me, it's still beautiful. Now, if I didn't find it beautiful, I'd be able to put another cover on, because soft pots are a bit like Barbie dolls. You just whack another top dress on if you don't like what it's wearing. And sometimes, you know, I mean, if you've been out there wearing your ball gown for 10 years, you know, your dress might not look so good. It depends. They wear individually, just like people, really. Some look more lived in than others. But yes, I thought I'd bring in Chloe's pot there, because I think that's still a very, very beautiful pot. And the plant's been the same plant. And then what else? Oh yeah, little things like this. You can get sort of necklines, you can shape them and form them and sculpt soft pots. Hello, Lily Mae Beister. Hello, hello. Oh, good morning, Elizabeth Parker. Oh, thank you very much all for joining me. It is a bit of a miserable day, isn't it? But I always think that, you know, when it's rainy, it's lovely to make a soft pot indoors. Don't get dirty, don't get a bad back from digging. And, you know, again, addressing this issue of learning to love ourselves, loving to be, you know, I mean, maybe love is the wrong thing. It's learning to honour and respect, even if we can't love ourselves, it's to honour and respect to the best of our ability our inner life, our inner selves. And this just makes you happy. I've had this one for years and years and years, and they're tough old plants, they are. I mean, they're good, you know, even indoors, against central heating. Soft pots fare much, much better than any plant in a plastic or terracotta pot. I mean, sometimes when I see plants in plastic or terracotta pots, you know, it looks like cruelty to me. It does. And coming back to, oh yes, I mean, last week I brought this in and I've still got it here. And she's just such a flouncy girl, isn't she? So I thought I'd give her a bit of flounce. She's got a skirt. And, I mean, you can sort of see her knickers, as I said, but, you know, I rather like that. She's just such a frilly girl. And she's got a lovely flouncy collar as well. And, yes, I mean, happy, happy, happy. I'll pop that. Yeah, I'll pop that down there. And, I mean, I keep bringing Priscilla out. I have to be a bit careful with Priscilla because she's a killer. She wants to get you. But as you can see, she's wearing a rather fetching leopard skin dress, and she's been wearing this one now for good 4 years, I'd say. She goes outside during the summer and she comes on tour with me, but I always have to be very careful because, I mean, she's a wonderful... She started off, she was really tiny. But, yeah, just to show you that, you know, there's no plant that you can't put in a soft pot and it won't do really well. As long as they're made right on the inside, what you do on the outside, how you dress it, entirely a matter of personal taste. Right, sorry. Oh, there we go, girl. I don't want any prickles. Also, you can put soft pots into things. You can wrap them around things. Now, this is something I made, quite a while ago, and it's got some little lithops a combination of those sort of living stones. And, you know, the nice thing about soft pots is that you can put things, little creatures and things in, and you can finish up creating a whole world, just a complete world to itself inside a soft pot. I mean, you couldn't do that really with a plastic or terracotta pot. It just doesn't really look the same. So yes, what have we got? And yes, here we are. You'll remember this, the Lily May Byster. This is that same clock that was in the Stonegate shop. As you can see, she's grown quite a bit. I put a little bird on there, and I've recovered her. But yes, that's at least 6 years old now, isn't it? And I always have that, just to show you. You know, you can find a bit of junk in a second-hand shop, and you can actually build a soft pot around it, and you finish up again creating something that is completely bespoke, completely unique, and wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Now, oh, look at that. Cleared that. That's good, that's good. Now, this week, I don't know. I always find in February that my focus is on the birds. The birds often, they're the only wild creatures that you see left. And sometimes they have a bit of a hard time because, you know, I mean, these days, there's, you know, the world isn't as bird-friendly as it used to be, is it? Well, it's probably getting better. But anyway, I just thought, sort of about this time, that I tend to finish up making sort of bird-like things that bounce up and down from the trees. And I thought I'd have a go at one of those. Now, oh, hello, Carol. Nasha, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me. That's really lovely. Now, I don't know if anybody is actually got their soft pot kit out and they're all ready and waiting and we're going to do it together. Go on, tell me. Otherwise, I thought, somebody said to me, because I said, I never seem to sell very much. And they said, yeah, but you don't sell it. So, actually, this is probably a good time to talk about the kit. Now, this is a £20 kit. And that includes the postage and packaging, and it's a really, really, really good deal. It takes quite a lot of putting together. That's your soft pot gold. There, you've got 10 colours. Inside here, you've got a full colour leaflet, the ring, 2 legs of stocking, glitter, sequins, lots of bits of material, petticoat material. There's loads and loads and loads of it. It's probably, I mean, I like to be generous. I like you to really get going with it. So, yes, this is the kit. If you want to order it, maybe Steve will put something up on here. Otherwise, just go to my website, softpots.com, and order from there. And if you want, you know, if you want any particular colours more than others, let me know, and I'll put them in for you, because I sit here and this is what I do. I put kits together. Anyway, there we go. Really, 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 really good value. Yeah. And that is a lot of soft pot gold. You'll get a lot of use out of that. You can, oh, yes, 1 scoop to 4 of regular compost, 3 of regular compost, 1 to 3, whatever the measurement is, that's a standard mix. You'll have loads and loads and loads of fun making soft pots with this and this. Order today, quick, before they keep putting it up. I'm going to have to put my prices up. But this is £20, including the postage and packaging. So basically it's a £15 kit. Right. Having said that, I've done it. I haven't done anything like that for a long time, have I? Straightforward, hey, buy the kit. But, you know, how are you going to know? How are you going to know the wonderful, wonderful, healing, happy effect that soft pots has on anybody unless you actually try it? And so be brave, make the step. If you have any problems, any issues, you can always call me, always write to me. I'm here, I respond quickly. Anyway, let's get on with it, hey? Now, some people I know maybe just joined me because I did a Women's Institute talk. Hello, Harrogate Bloomers. It's the new Women's Institute chapter, and I gave a talk and demonstration there the other evening, and I really, really enjoyed it. And here we go. Hopefully, I'm going to show you something different now. So here we go. What I've got is I've got the ring. It's just a handbag handle, but it comes with kit, and any sort of round, smooth thing is good. I've got soft pots, believe it or not, are made from stockings, ladies' stockings and tights. And you know something? Just like the ladies who wear them, they're soft, strong, supportive, giving, nurturing. They are just the business. And if you want to make really, really, really pretty soft pots, what you need to do is get the sheerest, shiniest, glossiest stocking or leg of tight that you can possibly get your hands on. Anything more than 15 denier, and there's no point putting anything shiny in because you just can't see, and it's a completely different technique. I sort of covered a bit of that a few episodes ago. But what I thought I'd have a go to doing today is well, I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's see. This is what happens when you come along and you decide you're going to make a soft pot. You don't necessarily know what you're going to do. It just evolves. It's an evolution between yourself and the plant and the soil and the stones and the soft pot gold. And by the time you finish up with something that is absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to drop the leg of the stocking through there, and then just going to, doesn't need to go all the way down because that will impede things, just needs to go right over the edge. And then I'm just going to put in a handful of wash gravel, ideally, a couple of handfuls there, and that just gives your soft pot a bit of gravitas, because otherwise soft pots are really, really light, you know. Yeah, much lighter than terracotta pots, but not so light as plastic. And I think actually because they're wide based, they just don't blow. They don't blow over the same way plastic pots do. And there we go. See, got the gravel, got a stocking just around the edge of there. There we go. Is anyone joining me? No, not yet. I know people do watch afterwards. So, what do I want to keep going? Now, what I've got here is the right sort of compost for the plant that I'm going to make a soft pot with. But, and that's a general rule, if you've got an ericaceous plant, use ericaceous compost. You need to know that, and it tells you on the label. But if you try and make a soft pot without the magic ingredient, SOFTPOT Club, it doesn't work. Because if you just put compost into a leg of stocking, the stocking, its remit, is to constrict and contract. And that's exactly what it does. And eventually, very, very quickly, in fact, you finish up with a pot that you can't get water in or out, and the whole thing dies. And it's a really sad affair. So what you need is SOFTPOT Gold. And this is it, see? And it's ever so light, and it looks like chunks of gold. And what it is, it's actually a natural mineral, comes from volcanoes, and they blow it up like popcorn. And it's interesting actually, because when you're gardening, you're working with earth, air, and water. But when you make a soft pot, because you've got the fire element from the volcanoes, you're actually working with all four elements. And then when you're decorating it with your own creative spirit. And by the time you've finished, as I said, you've got something that's just a monument to the living plant, and something that's just really special, really special. Anyway, that's a bit SOFTPOT Gold. You can order that from a website as well. And here I've got some that's already mixed up, and I mix it up like 3 scoops of compost to 1 of SOFTPOT Gold. And what you've got, see, it looks like a sort of scrummy sort of cake mix. It's lovely. There we go. Yeah, I mean, Saturday morning actually is quite a busy time, isn't it? But thank you for watching, catching up later. I appreciate that, thank you. Right, I've got my stocking, got my gravel in it, got my compost. Haven't got my, well, I have to put it on the floor because I can't find my, got to left my chair downstairs. All I'm going to do is dangle my leg of stocking over the top of my bucket, and with any luck, I'm just going to pour the compost in and let gravity do the work. If you try and fill it when it's sitting on a table or something like that, it'll go all over the place. If you do it this way, it's all nice and neat generally, and you don't get grubby and you don't get a mess. So there we are, got that. I've just filled that up to the top. And then what we're going to do is the bounce. And if I just move that to there a moment, how may you be able to see it? I don't know. Here we go. All I'm doing, this is the bounce, just dropping it on the floor. Doesn't want to be on a really super hard surface because that might damage the tide. But just drop it. And as you're dropping it, all the compost drops down to a nice loose pile. Children love this, you know. It's it's a bit like bell ringing or something. I mean, if you don't want to do that, you can just squash it down. But you don't want it compacted. It does need to be in a nice loose pile. Da-da-da! There we are. Ha! See? See how beautiful it is? And when that's outside, that looks like stone. And it'll grow its own moss and its own patina. And you can build with soft pots, you know. You can make soft pot bricks. So, right, coming back. Da-da. How's that? Yep. And then, what I'm going to do is this donut. This is called the donut. If I bring that closer, how's that? Yeah. This is called the donut. Get my thumbs, go make a hole in the middle, and then I'm going round and I'm squishing. I'm feeling for any lumps. And you know, the thing is that lumps affect the drainage. It's a bit like cellulite. At first you don't notice, and suddenly, boom, it's there. So, if you've got a lump, don't need that anymore. Doesn't want to be twisted. Da 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 da. Just going to stretch it. There we are. And where's that lump gone? There was a lump there if I felt it. There. Oh, I've squished it now, it's all right. After all that. Yeah, if you can't squish it, just get your hand in and get it out. But that's okay now. Yeah, all nice and smooth. It feels lovely. It feels like a dough. Right, going to take my plant. This is the most difficult bit, trying to get the plant into the pot in the first place. If it's really soggy, it could go all over the place. If it's really dry, it could go all over the place. And if you're doing it in public, bound to make a mistake. But let's have a go. I'm going to take it out. Come to me. Come to me. Close your eyes. Come to me. I'm stretching that neck out, and then I'm just dropping it onto the top of the compost. I'm not pushing it down, anything like that. Just going to tie this bit over here, nice and loose, because I need to undo it. And taking my thumb as a guide on its shoulder. When I get to this stage, I always tend to think of them as a bit like children. You've popped them into bed, and now all you need to do is bring up the blankets and tuck them in. And you know, soft pots are the kindest way of keeping a potted plant. There's no doubt about it. Anyway, got my thumb on its shoulder, and I'm just going to lift up the compost from the bottom and bring it up just to the neck. Doesn't need to go too far. There we are. Let me give it a little roll. It doesn't really matter about the shape at this point in time, because by the time you finish, it'll take any shape you want to give it. and remember it too. So here we go. Now, as I said, on the Saturday SOFTPOT Club, I just try and show you as much as I can with the simple soft pot. And the simple soft pot's the first one I always teach. And the reason for that is sometimes it's the most useful because it's a non-spill. All the others could spill, but this, it won't. As long as it's tight enough around the neck, it doesn't. You could play ball with it if you wanted to. It's a really, really good soft pot style for people who move a lot, live in a house with like clumsy people and things get knocked over all the time. Cats, dogs, very good. And so what I've done is I've just tied a knot around its neck, and I just look at my finger through there. See? There. That's it. Now, when it comes to dressing a soft pot, the world is your oyster, but there are certain things that you just don't want to involve with a soft pot. And basically it comes under the heading of natural materials. Natural materials will rot when they're between the layers. And apart from colour grass, which I'll explain later, apart from colour grass, which is a natural material, stay away from everything else. It goes slimy when it's in between the layers, and it's absolutely horrible. So also, I find that to make everything really nice and shiny, you know, if you had a ball gown and you were going to the fairy ball, you would have a petticoat underneath to make everything drop and hang properly. Just so with the soft pot. They're such girls, you know. You need a petticoat. You need a petticoat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's have a look. These are just bits of material. Now this I tend to use often. This is organza, and it just adds a base colour and a baseline around your soft pot that you can build everything else around and onto. And it is just pretty, pretty, pretty. There we go, that's my baseline petticoat. And then, at this level, I could do all sorts of things. I could add any bits of glycerin material that I like. Now, I particularly at the moment like, you want things that have got texture, holes, texture, anything like that, that'd be great. After you've made 3 or 4 soft pots, you know, you get what I call soft pot eyes. Everything you look at, you think, can I put that in a soft pot? Can I wrap a soft pot round it? Can I stuff it into something? A teapot, what? Of course, they're absolutely sculptable. And by the time you really get into it, you know, I still wake up at night thinking, oh, I haven't made that yet. There's just no end. I do have to sort of, I try to show you some of the stuff that I've got. I mean, the SOFTPOT garden itself is actually at Henshaw's. It's not here. You're free to go around and have a look. It's a wonderful place in Knaresborough, right by the river. It's arts and crafts, and you've got good food, wonderful walks, and it's well worth a visit, even if you don't visit the SOFTPOT garden. But yeah, the SOFTPOT garden is there, and it's in the most magical place, and that sort of gives you a better idea of the scope of soft pots. Here, you know, I've got some odds. I've got the sleeping ones, a few odd ones out here. But yeah, the SOFTPOT garden at Henshaw's. Please feel free to go and visit. And I also do courses there. I do day courses. I do hour-long courses. Got gift tokens if you want. Actually, SOFTPOT kits, you know, are good gifts to give. Very good gifts to give. And you get to share it too, because you can have a SOFTPOT party. I mean, soft pots are suitable for every occasion. Right, I've got a little bit of material there. What else have I got? That's it. Let's have a look. Now, this is the colour grass. Now, colour grass is the only natural. Oh, hello, Brenda. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Oh, yes. Have you got a new dog? Is that the dog that you put on on Facebook. Is that a new dog? It's very pretty. Yeah, this stuff. It comes in the most wonderful colours. I think it comes as part of the carpet industry or something. See all those colours behind there? This is what makes you able to make a SOFTPOT match anybody's decor, anybody's eye colour, anybody's favourite colour. And if they change their decor, you can change the SOFTPOT just to match. So, yeah, you don't need a lot of it. You just need a tiny little bit. And you can fluff it up and you can make it as light as a feather. You can blend it. Well, let's have a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Da-da. And apart from being very pretty, it's also very useful because it acts as a grip for everything that you might want to put on top. And this is one of the reasons why SOFTPOTs are really, really good for children, you know, because you only need a blunt pair of scissors. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so non-prescriptive. I mean, these days, everything is so nailed down and prescribed. And it's so wonderful to have the freedom to be creative with a living plant and for it to be so open to interpretation. So yeah, right, here we go. I've got myself a pretty little top dress coming on there. And the thing is in a way you have to think, in a fairy. But if by any chance, you can't find your inner fairy when you start, by the time you finish, believe me, your inner fairy will have found you. True. You see. And then, what else have we got? Now, I was going to do feathery things, wasn't I? So I probably really don't need to do too much on that. Having said that, I've got this, so I won't let go. One of the other things you can put on, some of the different sort of things, by the way, are synthetic wools. Try and stay away from real wool. It sort of goes mouldy looking, but I mean, I quite like the look of it. I call it patina. But, as I often say, SOFTPOTs are washable. If you don't like what's going on with your SOFTPOT, just wash it. Just give it a wipe with a good damp cloth. And it'll just bring it back up. It'll get rid of any moss that you don't want. And if they're indoors and they've gone a bit dark and dull or a bit dusty looking, again, just take a damp cloth, wipe it round, and you'll find that they come up bright, brand new, beautiful. I mean, SOFTPOTs are just so good. Good for people, good for the planet, because they use all these recycled materials. I mean, ideally you're using recycled stockings and tights, recycled bits of material, and then you can recycle them again if you decide that you want to. You can use the gubbins to make another SOFTPOT if you want to. It just sort of goes on and on and on. But however you dress them, they're better for the plants, and that's what I found. I'm not a good gardener. I'm not an artist. I even failed art O-level. Believe me, the fact that I can do this is wonderful because I'm not a creative in that respect. It's only because I invented this that, you know, suddenly it's, because it's non-prescriptive, you don't need to be a painter, you don't need to be an artist, you don't need any special skill to make a SOFTPOT. And there's no point comparing because they're all different. So, anyway, yeah, let's go on. What else? What else do you put on a SOFTPOT? Glittery things, sequiny, glittery things, those are good. Ooh, let's have a little bit of that. Found some of that at Christmas time. Anything like this at Christmas, get it. Because all of a sudden it disappears. So, yeah, I try to bulk buy, but hey, I have my limitations. Just need a little bit of that, because I'm going to be doing something different. You could put sequins on. Could definitely put sequins in. Let's have a little look. Let's have a look at some of these. just dribble them on, and they'll go through and they'll drop through the layers. And you know something, it's really nice. Perhaps it's because I use the colour grass, which fades back given time. But you'll find that anything that you put under these layers, you can write messages, happy birthday, whatever. You can put them under there, and even if you don't see it when you first finish making the soft pot, given years, everything that's under there will become more visible. It's like the colour grass fades back, and everything that's below comes forward. So all these sequins that might have dropped through, you might think, oh, I won't see those. Yes, you will. Soft pots age in such an interesting way. Right, let's have a look. What else are we going to do? Let's push the boat out a bit and let's put a bangle on. This is the only time. This is just a regular old bangle. You can have thick bangles, thin bangles, but I just happen to have those sort of bangles. And I'm just going to drop it over the top of the pot, over the plant. I'm just going to push some stuff up under that bangle so that we get some glittery bits in there. And then the grand denouement. Think it's ready? Think it looks like a fairy going to the ball? How are we doing? I can't. Oh, yeah. Yep. Bonkers, isn't it? I mean, completely bonkers. But I have to admit, I do enjoy this actually now. And it keeps me making soft pots and keeps me talking about soft pots. Right, the grand denouement. Going to undo this. Going to get my fingers in at the top. Going to give it a little wiggle. Bring this down. Thumbs on the back. Grab, grab, grab. Everything there. Bring it down. Bring it round. Don't be tempted to like push everything underneath, because you don't want that. You've got to try and keep it as clear as possible underneath, because that's where it will take its moisture. If it's on the ground, if it's a hanger, you have to water it generally. I mean, they do well. They absorb the ground, the rainwater, but a hanger is generally something that you need to just plunge once a week if it's outdoors. See that? See that base? That's its bum. What you need to do is you need to grab it, don't let go, and then with your other hand, bring this down, right down over your arm. Keep pulling, whoop, nice and firm. One of the good things you know about soft pots is if you make holes, you don't have to worry, just make more holes. If you make a ladder, don't worry about it, just make more ladders. Just keep going, you just go. Just bodge it till you make it, basically. As long as it's right on the inside, you can't go wrong. Right, I'm pulling this down, and as I'm doing so, that neckline is widening, and I can control that aperture. I just want enough to let that plant out, but no more, because this is a simple soft pot, and I don't want it to be spilling. So, there we are. Let's have a look. That's it. That's good. That's good. Now, with my other hand, I'm just going to shove all this stuff back up above the base of the pot. No point being myopic with the soft pot, you know, because this is where it all changes. Right, and you can just move things around to suit you. Let's have a look. Bring this down. Right, now this is where you can have a look, see what it's like. And if you're happy with it at that point, what you can do is just turn it upside down. This is called a twizzle. And we actually need to do it, because otherwise the soft pot will be really dark. And it's for our benefit, and it's over quickly for the plant. But if you start low down, it doesn't get too dizzy. Hold that, don't let that get involved, and twizzle it, see? And by twizzling it, what you're doing is that you're forcing as much tension into that stocking as it's possible. Keeping it nice and clear. See how all the colours have just jumped out? Yeah? Now, going to turn it upside down, just going to make a knot, simple knot. Obviously with bigger plants there's different techniques and things, but There we go, done that. Now, just going to force that bit up there. Force some more material up into that collar. And I'm just going to take a bit of stocking and make a tie underneath that bangle. Do it that way then. There's always more than one way to do anything with a soft pot. It really is. It prompts your ingenuity. Right, I'm just making a tie there, and that's making that neckline that bit more defined. Now, depending on how much length I've got left there. Ooh, yes, I could do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of that stocking, actually, before I do that, I'm just going to, this is called distressing. It can be distressing. Some people get very distressed by it. I'm just taking a pair of scissors and just opening it up. Soft pots can be really, really messy looking or completely smooth. It really does depend. I mean, sometimes people think, oh my gosh, you know, what's that? It's all chaos. But you watch, it all turns into beauty and order. I'm going to take this back up over itself. Want it to sit squarely into that. Going to take this up, drop it a bit. Again, depending on the plant. I mean, I tend to use ivy for teaching because they can take quite a battering. And again, I'm just going to make a tie under there. I've got no idea, I don't know. I think I must have some idea what's going to happen because I'm making this into a hanger. It's funny though, isn't it? I mean, it's like your subconscious is always well ahead of your conscious self. I've finally learned to try to surrender. And not think too much about what I'm doing. I just let it flow. And what I'm doing here is I've just sliced up one side. Now, if I wanted, I could keep it like that. See? Da 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 da. And that's quite a, you know, that's nice. And if it's going against a wall and you flatten the back, if you're growing something that the slugs like, it's worth having that sort of style hanger, because the slugs they don't like soft pots for a kick-off, but that will give you some protection. There's other things to do for protection for slugs as well, but I'll go into that when we get into the spring, summer. That's when slugs are a real issue. And there's lots and lots of things that you can do to make your soft pots slug-proof. And it looks pretty as well. You know, it looks like it's part of it. It's Brillo pad. They really don't like Brillo pad. You know that loose Brillo pad that you can get? Right, there we go. Now, I've sort of made a hanger. And I've just got a little knot at the top. But if I wanted to, I could wrap all of that, wrap all of this and make it really, really pretty. But I did say something about I was going to have a go with, what have I got here? Ooh, I've got a bit of fishnet. I'm just going to pop a bit of a fishnet over the top of that. Again, see if you can make it sit firmly at the bottom there. And again, make another tie. Should have made it before without so many ties, but hey, this is how it's happening today. And as I said, you know, bodge it till you make it. SOFTPOTs are incredibly forgiving. If you don't like what you've got, undo it, start again. As I said, as long as the base, as long as they're made right on the inside, you can't go wrong. Right, now, I don't quite like that. I'm just going to bring the rest of this down. Now, I could put more material in between those layers of fishnet, but you can already see what's there. I'm going to do a twizzle, and then when I've got fishnets, I find that they invite all sorts of other things, like feathers. I found my feather box, and it's very, very depleted, I have to admit. I got me nice. Oh, let's just put some of those in then. We've got some nice blue ones. All you need to do is just tuck the feathers in. Just stick them in there, into the fishnet, and just stick them through. And you'll be amazed, you know, they seem to last really well. I definitely want some blue. And all you do is just keep going round and just popping your feathers in. I mean, sometimes I build birds with wings and things, but then a lot of the time I don't use plants in them. Again, all using stockings and tights. I mean, really, they're the most underrated invention, really, in many ways. But the problem is that they are a form of plastic. And the thing is that if you just put tights or stockings into landfill, they'll be there for hundreds and hundreds of years. But if you use them to make soft pots, you'll find that they break down much, much quicker. If you don't like it, of course, you can just put another layer on. But certainly, soft pots display an extraordinary inner life. And if they go into landfill, it'll be a good thing, because they're already absolutely teeming with microorganisms. I mean, soft pots themselves are very, very healthy. And they get worms and everything in them if they've been outside. You know, surprisingly, big fat worms. The fishnet and feathers, what a glamorous ivy she is. Well, the idea is that when I've finished, she just bounces up and down from my tree outside, and she sort of looks like a bird. You know, she just bounces up and down in the wind. And of course, because this is stretchy, you know, the branch actually lifts it up and down. And so there you are, one pretty, pretty bird. And of course, I keep adding colours. You can make it as elaborate as you like. Ooh, I mean, it is coming up to Easter, isn't it, soon? I mean, it's going to be eggs and birds and things like that. No wonder I'm talking feathers. Now let me see. Oh, let's put some orange in then. Let's make it an exotic bird. And you'll find yourself doing this, you know. You find yourself laughing. And I mean, it really is a collusion between you, the plant, your own creativity, your own creative spirit, and what makes you happy. And oh dear. Do I just squeeze that one in there? Anyway, you get the idea. I'm trying to get that one in. And they fit in there quite snug actually. Once you've got them in right, you can feel it. You know when they're in. But there we go. One very, very pretty little bird. And the thing is, on a day like today, if it was outside in the rain, all right, they look a bit sorry for themselves. But the second the breeze comes up, and all of a sudden they're bouncing up and down. Pretty, just a pretty little thing. Anyway, I hope this is something new. I hope this is something that you'd want to do. Please feel free, get a kit, and have a go. Have a go yourself. There's lots and lots to play with in the kit, and you can make lots and lots of soft pots, so you can just keep on going and just love it and love yourself. Because by the time you've finished, you've generated your own love. You're not looking for anything from anyone else. It's your own grounding, it's your own healing, and it's your own liberation, as much for the plant as it is for you. It really does work that way. Anyway, I'm just going to pop this in a bowl of water now. I'll probably take the feathers off, let it stand, let it soak up, charge the SOFTPOT Gold on the inside, and then it'll be out there and it'll be happy as Larry. And I do hope this has been of interest to you, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much indeed. Next week, who knows what will happen or what I'll do, but we're cranking on through the winter months, and I wish you joy and ease until next week. Thank you very much for joining me, and see you soon. All the best to you. Bye for now. That one.